Hey everyone, there are countless stories out there where the life of an ordinary person takes a drastic turn. Some of these tales are true, while others are crafted to inspire and motivate us. After all, a small spark of motivation can have the power to transform someone's life. But it often takes a single click, a single moment of realization. While there can be countless excuses not to do something, it only takes one reason to act. Today, I want to share an extraordinary story that might just shift your perspective. This is the story of a beggar at one railway station. Every day, he roamed the station, asking passengers for money. Begging was his way of survival, and it provided just enough to fill his stomach. One day, he approached a man dressed in a fine suit, a man who looked like a millionaire. The beggar thought, "This person must be wealthy. He'll surely give me a good amount of money." When the beggar asked him for money, the man looked at him and asked, "Do you always beg? Have you ever tried giving anything to someone else?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I'm just a beggar. I survive by asking others. I have nothing to give to anyone." The man responded, "I'm a businessman, and I believe in transactions. If you don't have anything to give, I can't give you anything in return." Saying this, the man boarded the train and left. The beggar was stunned by the man's words. They lingered in his mind, sparking a realization. Maybe I don't get much from people because I never give anything in return. But what can I, a beggar, possibly offer? Days passed, and the beggar couldn't shake this thought. One day, as he sat near the station, he noticed some flowers growing nearby. An idea struck him. Why not give flowers to people in exchange for their alms? Excited by the thought, he picked a few flowers and began his new approach. When he begged, he offered a flower to anyone who gave him money. To his surprise, people loved this gesture and started giving him more. Every day, he collected flowers and gave them to passengers who offered him alms. Over time, more people began noticing and appreciating his unique way of begging. The act of giving something small, a flower, brought him more goodwill and support than he'd ever imagined. One day, as he was distributing flowers, he saw the same wealthy man who had sparked his transformation. The beggar approached him and said, "Sir, I want to thank you. Your words changed my life. Today, I have something to give you in return for your alms. These flowers." The man smiled, handed the beggar some money, and received the flowers. "Wow," the man said. "Look at you. You've become just like me, someone who gives as well as receives." The businessman's parting words stayed with the beggar, echoing in his mind. He reflected deeply, and a newfound clarity lit up his eyes. It felt as if he had finally uncovered the secret to his success. Excited, he jumped off the train, raised his eyes to the sky and shouted, "I'm not a beggar anymore. I'm a businessman, and I am rich." People nearby looked at him, puzzled, some even assuming he had gone mad. However, the beggar never returned to the station again. 6 months later, at the same railway station, two well-dressed men met on a train. One extended his hand, introducing himself. "Do you recognize me?" he asked. The other man hesitated. "I don't think so. I believe this is the first time we're meeting." Smiling, the first man replied, "No, this is our third meeting." Surprised, the second man shook his head. "I can't recall when we met before." The first man chuckled and said, "We met twice on this very train. I was the beggar who asked you for alms. The first time, you refused to give me anything and taught me an important lesson about life. The second time, I gave you flowers in exchange for alms." The second man's face lit up with recognition. Ah, now I remember. Yes, you're the same beggar. But how are you dressed like a successful businessman today? What are you doing now? With pride, the man said, Yes, I was the beggar, but not anymore. Today, I am a thriving businessman in the flower trade. I owe my success to the lesson you taught me about the law of giving and receiving. When we first met, you explained that we only receive when we give something in return. Your words made me realize the potential within me. And when we met the second time, you helped me see myself not as a beggar, but as a businessman. That shift in perspective changed my life. He continued, I began by giving flowers to passengers in exchange for alms. Over time, I saved enough money to start buying flowers in bulk and selling them at a profit. I discovered that people love flowers. They appreciated my gesture, and soon my business grew. Now, I've become one of leading flower traders here. The two men shared a smile, acknowledging the journey that had unfolded from a chance encounter. The businessman departed at his stop, inspired by the transformation he had unknowingly sparked. The story teaches us a profound lesson. You don't need money to uplift someone. Knowledge, guidance, and support can empower others to unlock their potential and transform their lives. This story beautifully illustrates the power of giving, no matter how small. It reminds us that sometimes the smallest acts can lead to the biggest changes in our lives. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe.